is Pleading with God. And in me, inside is taken 25 to 30. So I'm just going to read it. And this was the writing that was written, Mene, Mene, Parsim. This is the interpretation of the thing. Meaning, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Perez, the kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, clothe Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold around his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. In that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. So I want, as I said, our topic for today is pleading with God. And what is this about? But before pleading with God, I want to just give you a background so you get a full understanding of the story. So this is where Belshazzar, who is the son to Nebuchadnezzar, so after Nebuchadnezzar dies, his son Belshazzar takes over. So unfortunately, he took the cups of gold and silver and bronze and the plates that were supposed to serve in the temple of God, and he took them to a dinner party he was having with all the princes and his concubines and his wives, and he drank out of them. And while they were there, they were worshiping the gods of gold and silver. And a hand appeared to him and wrote the words on the wall, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsim. So he was really um I don't know the word, devastated and shocked, because he saw this handwriting on the wall and he didn't know what it meant. So eventually he found out that Daniel could interpret. So he called in Daniel, and Daniel told him that basically what the word said was that he was going to die and he was going to lose his kingdom. And this was because he he knew that God was God, because of his father's experience. And had an awesome experience with God, and he proclaimed that the God in the heavens was true God to serve. So he, knowing all that his Medes and Persians. And verse 30 said, In that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. So what I want to talk about is pleading with God, because when I was reading this, I was like, he just took the words from Daniel, and he, verse 29 said that he, Belshazzar, commanded that Daniel be clothed with scarlet and a chain of gold be put on his neck, and that he's the third ruler in the kingdom, and that was his Daniel's reward for being obedient, or for not obedient, for interpreting what was written on the wall. And then he just did that and went home. Like naturally, there was no part where he stopped to say, forgive me, or I have sinned against God. No point. And I was saying, he just accepted the sentence and like that. And then I recalled all the stories where persons pleaded with God in the Bible, and I'm remembering that David, when Nathan came to David and David realized that he was deserving of death because of murdering a man because he had an affair with his wife. David immediately said that he had and he repented, and God forgave him. And although he faced punishment, he did not lose his kingdom and he did not lose his life. And I'm also remembering Hezekiah, who was a king of Israel. And Hezekiah was supposed to die. He was gravely ill and he was supposed to die. And he went and he prayed and he said, God, remember all the good things that I have done for you. And God spoke to him and said, okay, I remember everything that you did for me in the past. So because of everything, give you 15 more years to live. These people pleaded with God. And it's not pleading with God. And I'm not saying we should bargain with God, which is a different thing. When you bargain with God, you're basically saying, God, if you do this for me, then I will do that for you. So if you don't let me lose my job, I will serve you. If you don't let my children get in trouble, I will work in church. So it's bargaining is where we are going to give God something in return for Him doing something else for us. And I'm not saying we should bargain with God. However, I'm saying that we should plead with God. And plead basically means that we're going to ask Him for His mercy and grace. Now, Hebrews in Hebrews 4 verse 16, it says, go boldly to the throne of grace so that we may receive mercy and grace. And boldly don't mean proudly. Boldly just mean that go asking, go pleading with confidence that you're able to talk to God and He will listen so that you may receive mercy and grace. And the sad thing is Belshazzar didn't do this, and I think he could. Yes, he was wicked, and yes, he did something wrong. He defiled the ornaments of God. However, he didn't do such a bad thing compared to Manasseh. Manasseh was a of the Israelites, and Manasseh was the wickedest king ever. If you can read it in the Bible, he was the absolute worst king. It is because of him why Daniel and the people in Daniel's time even ended up in Babylon in the first place, because of his sins. But this wicked king who sacrificed his children to fire, who prostituted people, who worshipped other idols, who ate the food of idols, he did so much worse than even the pagans would do. Things that the pagans wouldn't do, this king did it. But in the end, Manasseh repented, like this wicked king where God said, hey, I'm going to cause all of Israel to go into bondage because of your actions. Manasseh repented, and the surprising thing is that God forgave him. God forgave him and restored him to his throne of being a king, and he ended up dying in peace and being buried in the family plot. So that's a real big thing, being able to be buried in the family plot, because many kings, because of their actions like Ahab, they weren't buried in the family plot, they were buried somewhere else. So because of Manasseh's repentance, he understood where he was. He said, oh, what a wretched man I am, and I see my wrong deeds. And he was being fair and just, and he said, Lord, I'm coming boldly to your throne, and I'm asking you for mercy and grace. He didn't bargain. He didn't say, if you restore me to the kingdom, I will worship you. No, he just asked God to forgive him. But Belshazzar, on the other hand, did no such thing. And I'm saying sometimes we get verdicts from God, and it is really just and it is fair because of our actions. But we just take it like that. And I'm not saying that we can change God's mind. However, I'm saying we can plead our cause with Him. The woman who had a daughter who was possessed, she went to Jesus and she said that she needed help, and Jesus said, no, go away. But she persisted, and then Jesus said that I cannot take the meat for the children and give it to the dogs. So Jesus basically called this woman dog and worthless. But she stood there and she said, even the dogs eat the crumbs from their master's table. And Jesus said, because of her faith, which he has not seen such greater faith in anyone in Israel, because of her faith, then her daughter was healed. And it is because of her pleading, her faith, her believing. And she pled and she got what she wanted. So I'm just going to ask us all, let us plead for mercy and grace. Mercy is a gift that God gives unto us. Mercy says that here are your actions, you deserve this judgment. However, I'm going to go light on you. Instead of destroying everything that you own, I'm just going to take away one thing. That's mercy. Instead of you dying for your sins, I'm going to forgive you. Grace, however, says that It's a gift that says, yes, you don't deserve to be here, but I'm going to put you there anyway. Yes, you don't deserve to operate in this dispensation or in this gifting because of your past or who you are, but I'm just going to give it to you anyway because I love you. So that is grace, and you need mercy and grace in hand. So once God has pardoned us, we can get grace. So that is the point of pleading with God, going to him and saying, Lord, I know I did wrong and I'm sorry. And I know I deserve this punishment, but I'm asking you to go light on me, have mercy on me, don't cause this to happen. And or don't cause that to happen. I understand if you will do what you want to do, or because I really and truly cannot change your mind. But um I'm asking you anyway for mercy and grace. And this is something that I personally did, and I got mercy and grace. So if I can do it, look at me, nobody, you can do it too. Just ask, plead with God. Don't bargain with him. Don't body him up, because he is God and he really and truly doesn't have to change his mind. But if your heart is right, if your heart is pure, if you truly love the Lord, you can say, Daddy, I do deserve this judgment that you have passed on on me. I do deserve what is happening. However, I'm pleading with you. Have mercy on me. Please show me your grace. And I'm going to close with this, where David said, no, before I close, I'm just going to share a testimony. I was in a relationship with, yeah, almost a young man because he's not a young girl. I was in a relationship. So we both did things that were wrong, or we both disobeyed God in the relationship. So because of that, no, um, because of our disobedience, we had to, yeah, it caused the relationship to end. And for me, it affected my life and my spirituality and my purpose. And I felt like everything was, I felt like I wasn't as close to God. I couldn't find a way to get back close to him, and I just felt like something had changed. So when I was going through Daniel 5, and I was looking at the fact that Belshazzar never, he just accepted the sentence. He never pled with God. He never repented. He never said, Lord, please forgive me for being disobedient. Please forgive me for defiling the things that were created to be used in your temple. And I was saying, Lord, I don't want to just accept such a sentence. I don't want to see my promise being given to somebody else. Like, for example, the children of Israel, 40 years in the wilderness because they were disobedient, and they literally had to die in the wilderness for their generation to get their promise. And I was just talking to God and saying, I don't want my purpose to be deferred to my children, because then they'd living up my purpose and their purpose, and I don't want that for my children. I want to live up my purpose, because I don't want to be like King Saul, who disobeyed God, and he spent about 40 years as king, even after God said, I'm done with you. When God told him that he was done with him, he still remained king for 40 years. And I was really telling God that I don't want to live the rest of my life knowing that his presence is not with me. I don't want to live the rest of my life working for him, but knowing that he is not around me, guiding me, supporting me, for me. So I really poured out to him, and I said, Lord, please forgive me and have mercy on me. I don't want to be like a Saul. I would rather be like a David, who was forgiven and who was able to live out his promise. And I don't want to see my promise or my purpose deferred to someone else, like the kingdom was given to Darius after Belshazzar died. I don't want my promise to be given to somebody else. I want to be able to live out my promise, because that's why he created me. So I just want to encourage you to plead with God. And then immediately after that, about a few minutes, I was praying, and then like the prayer life really kicking, like before I used to pray before everything happened, it just immediately came back. And I was just praying, and then it's like God opened my eyes to say, hey, I answered your prayer. And he didn't have to do that, but he did. And I was just so thankful that he gave me a sentence, and I could have just accepted it like that, but I chose to plead with him. And I chose to say, Lord, have mercy on me. Show me grace. Please don't let this happen to me. And David, I was remembering David, and I'm encouraging you to plead with God. No matter what you did, no matter what, yes, his judgments are fair. And I told him that yes, his judgment is fair and it is right, and I do deserve it, but I'm begging him to have mercy on me. So you can do the same thing too. And I'm leaving you with this verse that David wrote, and he said it is better to fall in the hand of God than to fall in the hands of his enemies. And he said that because he knew that even when God was punishing him, God could have mercy and grace on him. So God will have mercy and grace on you. So plead with him. Plead with him and ask him to have mercy and show you grace. Have a good day. Jean. Jeannie.
The talking was going away from the action.